So yesterday was my birthday. Yes, thank you, thank you. I turned 25, and I'm so jazzed about it. I'm so jazzed to be entering a quarter-life crisis. The reason why is I love any sort of blanket excuse for erratic behavior. I really do, I really do. The most wonderful time of the year for me is when Mercury goes into retrograde. That is when I go to work. I was reading the news. Anybody keeping up? Yeah. I had the thought that perhaps we were a little presumptuous when we called the Great Depression the Great Depression. You know? I feel like we've made the Great Depression look like a not so good, very bad day. You know? I was scrolling through the news and I saw this article. And the title of the article was one of those where it's just a quote. And the quote was, "President Trump is an idiotic American buffoon," which I thought was a beautiful resurgence of the word buffoon. So I clicked on it. The first line is again the quote, "President Trump, idiotic American buffoon, says ISIS." And I had to take a moment of self-reflection, where for the first time I had to ask myself, do I have common ground with ISIS? This is what I hate about what's going on right now, is before the election, nothing in common with ISIS. Not one thing. And now we could, muddle our way through small talk, ISIS and I, you know? Like, if I was going to a party expecting not to know anybody and I saw them, I'd be like, ISIS is here, gonna be fine, you know? I went to the doctor recently. Did not go well. Does anybody else have a difficult time answering the question, on average, how much do you drink? Mm-hmm. Yeah, my doctor asked me that, and my response was anywhere between 1 and 42 glasses of wine, depending on how close to ISIS I feel this week. You know? Another difficult part of the doctor examination for me is when they want to listen to your lungs. Does anybody else forget how to breathe? This is a reenactment of my doctor listening to my lungs. She'll say, "Take a deep breath in," and I will truly go. She's like, "Can you try again?" And I go, "Ah." It's never good when the doctor asks you if you have somebody to talk to, you know? Because my response is, ISIS. You know? Breathing has always been difficult for me, though. When I first started kissing boys, I thought it was unattractive if they heard me breathing. So I would be in the middle of a makeout and then I would turn and go, and then I'd be right back in it, you know? Just sort of like I was an Olympic swimmer, just here. And then we're going for gold. Yeah. Eventually I had the thought that I could hear them breathing. So maybe it was okay if I breathed too. And that's when I became a feminist. That's why I marched, you know? I was raised in Texas, so my sexual education was just don't. And so I didn't get a lot of information. I had to learn a lot of things on the fly. Like, for instance, I had to learn how to use a tampon by reading the instructions in the box. For those of you who have not had that reading pleasure, what it tells you to do is to elevate the leg, and that's the best way to get a tampon in. But when you're not breathing, when you're kissing boys, what you take that information to mean is that anytime anything is inserted into the vagina, the leg must be. So my first time, if we were to replay the tape, what you would see is the male player ready. You would see me clock that and then go, as though the vagina had a drawbridge that could just open and close. How did I learn there was no drawbridge on the vagina? My boyfriend at the time asked me if I wanted to be on top. And I replied with, I can't get the angle and let it open, you know? He dumped me. It's okay. No, I'll leave you guys with this. I have a new sexual pet peeve, which is sex mumbling and or mumbling during sex. Because there's nothing that ruins a fornication, like being in the throes, you know? And then hearing And then having to turn and go, what? Because it could be an instruction. It never is, but it could be. It's always something along the lines of, have you been a bad girl? And then you have to refine the moment and go, oh, yeah, I'm a bad Beverly. Guys, you guys are cute. Thanks so much. I'm Lizzie Stewart.